This is East Carolina Defensive Coordinator Blake Harrell, and you're listening to the Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
How about those friggin' Pirates?
Welcome into the Sports Objective. We appreciate everyone tuning in whenever and however you're watching or listening, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or pretty much anywhere you find podcasts, you can find us. Today we're talking East Carolina softball as we're joined by the second year, or just wrapped up his second year, entering his third season with the East Carolina softball program, Shane Winkler. Coach, we appreciate your time.
Bob, I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Always enjoy talking Pirates softball with you, and I know you guys fell just shy of that first winning season for the program since 2014, but an awful lot of strides made.
Yeah, we made a lot of progress, and that's part of the process of kind of rebuilding the program. We were really close at times, really close to, like you said, finishing with a above 500 record, but a lot of things to be happy about. The strides that a lot of our individual players made, some of our younger players with the experience that they got, and just how close we are to breaking through, and really just a couple players away from taking that next big step. And that's part of the kind of process that we're going through this summer. But just really happy with the effort our girls put in all year, and just how close we are to, again, being that in one of those big programs in the American.
Just for reference for Pirate fans, in your first season, you guys went 20-36 this year, 27-28, just a game below 500. Some near misses against programs like Duke and Virginia Tech, top 25 caliber programs, and programs that have been making NCAA regionals or even super regionals and beyond. So and you just talk about some of those near misses and just seeing like I mentioned, and like you already discussed a little, just the strides that this program is making.
Yeah, and we talked about that going into the season. We were competitive last year during our first year in a lot of games, a lot of series. But when we wanted to compete to win this year, so we did. We took a big step forward. But you can take a doubleheader like the Duke games, which got a nationally televised game. And we pushed them. I mean, we had them to the brink, and we've got a lead going into the last inning, and we're right there with them, and give up a home run late, but had opportunities throughout that game to blow a game open against, at the time, was one of the top 5 teams in the country, and a team that was on the brink of going to the World Series. And just kind of how we're looking into going into next year, we're a player away from taking that next big step, someone that can get that big RBI or that shutdown out late in the game. But we were close. We put ourselves in that position all year long. It started with our opening weekend with pushing Virginia Tech to late innings. We held the lead on them for most of the game. But again, one player or one moment away from a big top 25 win there. But you can look throughout the season at moments that we did pull off wins like that. First time in 15 years, we went to UNC and picked up a big win there. One of our last series of the year, we went and picked up a win against NC State. So we're pulling off Power 5 wins and wins that Pirate fans can be proud of, and that we're kind of building on for the future. But really close in a lot of conference series. But you can just look again at those Power 5, those ACC games, that we were right there with teams that we're closer to than a lot of people would think. And again, one recruiting class and one transfer class away from breaking through.
And I certainly know many Pirate fans were tuned in to that Duke doubleheader that you mentioned was on national television, and I was one of those. And for Pirate baseball fans, you've seen catches throughout the year by Lane Hoover, and then also Riley Johnson in Sports Center Top 10. And talk about the one since we discussed that Duke game that you guys had that actually forced extra innings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, well, early in the game, we had a chance to break it open, and they made a Sports Center top 10 catch in center field that would have scored another run for us. And then late in the game, they have a chance to tie it up. We got a freshman, Anna Sawyer, goes up over the fence and robs a home run. So I mean, there's so many moments like that that were so exciting for what we did throughout the year. But really, again, this shows the potential for where we're going in the future. But that's what we talked about all year long was how many moments we can create. And a moment and a big catch like that, where we're robbing a home run against a top 5 opponent. Those kind of moments, what propels you for a game, for a season, and for someone like Anna Sawyer, a local product here, for hopefully a career, because that's something that she was excited about. We were excited about for her. But really, moments are what creates winning programs. So we're looking to build more and more moments in the future like that.
And just a little note for Pirate fans on Anna Sawyer and that family. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say her brother is committed to play baseball for the Pirates.
He is. He's a younger one, but yeah, he's right. Rising pitcher that's going to hopefully be a star just like she will for our program.
One of the pitchers that you had that definitely had a solid year is Addie Bullis. Talk about her season. Had an ERA of under 3, and opponents hit just 240 against her.
You know, Addie battled through injury last year, her first year with us. She transferred in from Dayton for us. So she battled being injured all year long. So we had to limit her innings, and she wasn't 100% throughout this entire season either. I don't know if we'll get her back to 100% or not, but she gave us some really tough innings. And we feel like with some of the young pitchers we got coming in this year with big velocity, that she's going to complement those a ton. But just her work ethic and her fight and toughness to battle through, really never being 100%, but finding ways to be as effective as possible. And that's what she did all year long. And she kept us in games. And her and really Jordan Hatch split a lot of innings as we went through the season, and two lefties for us that really grew in a lot of ways throughout the season, and going to set themselves up to be some table setters for us, but also, like I said, be able to complement some of the young velocity kids we got coming in the future. So really proud of what Addie did battling back. And then again, Jordan, some of the innings that she had and some of the moments she had, we keep going back to that Duke game. It was Jordan Hatch who shut them down for 6+ innings that gave us a chance to even be in a game like that. So proud of our pitching staff, and those two kind of led the way. Obviously, a lot of innings from some of our kids that came out of the bullpen, but those two led the way for us, and working their tails off already this summer to get ready for next season.
We'll certainly dive into some of the tremendous signees you have headed your way here in a few minutes. But I know back when we talked preseason, late January, early February, you were saying that it was going to be very much a staff approach, that it wasn't going to be, 1 or 2 girls that were just, shut down pitchers, if you will. But talk about how that approach served you in that growth and progress that you just referenced.
We probably didn't get as much innings out of some others as we were planning. And that has a lot to do with how well Addie and Jordan threw early in the season. Addie threw really well for the first 2 months, and then threw well throughout conference play, but really shut teams down with a low ERA through February and early March. So we didn't have to utilize the bullpen as much as we planned. And had we scored a little more runs, we probably could have experimented more with some others. But we had some like Peyton Hudson step up as a transfer, and they got some meaningful innings for us. As a grad transfer, she got 1 more year for us. She had some real meaningful innings. Maddie Davis battled through some injuries early in the season, but I mean, you saw the way she finished her career up here and on senior day, threw extremely well, and had some moments for us throughout the season. And so we got some good moments from our bullpen as well throughout the year. But again, Jordan and Addie were those table setters, and we feel like we're going to have a lot deeper staff next year, and that's going to be really important for us to take that next step. We're hopefully someone steps up to being number 1, but then we've got some 1A and 1Bs that can battle for those innings also. But that's going to always be important. And that's kind of the way that softball's been going more in the future. You look 5-10 years ago when it was always one pitcher throwing 300 plus innings, and it's a lot less of that now. Offenses are way too good for that. So we feel like we're going to have an even deeper staff heading into the 23-24 season.
Shifting over and talking about the offense, as you just referenced on the production, it's not what you would have liked, but at the same time, you had some excellent individual performances. And some good games. But Taylor Edwards, what a season she had! 365, 3 bombs, 12 doubles, also 5 triples.
Yeah, and all region kid, and she's one that came in January, so she really just had a month to prepare and hadn't played for a year and a half before that because she took last year off and didn't see a lot of time with UCLA the year before, but transferred in from a big powerhouse program like that, but just an athlete that was able to come in and make an immediate impact for us. So really proud of what she did, and was one of the table setters for us. She was an all-conference, all-region kid, so we're really proud of that. And then Tawdria Sinney, who finished up her career for us as a 2-year transfer. She's one that came in last year as a mid-year, so we've had some success with the mid-year transfer kids. That rule's kind of going away, so we're going to have to get them in here before August and not worry about getting transfers in January where they can play right away. But Tawdria Sinney is another one where you look at numbers, especially throughout conference play, that got kind of an all-conference slight that we think she should have had 2 straight years of all-conference play. But, I mean, those top 2 in the lineup really set us up throughout the year. And then we had some individual performances that really excited about for the season and really getting kids some growth for the future. Like Logan Sutton had a lot of moments. She led us in home runs. Average not where she'd want to be, and I know she's working already this summer on get some things more consistent for the future, but showed a lot of explosiveness. We've already talked about Anna Sawyer, some of the things that she did her freshman year, going through some freshman bumps at times and seeing how tough it is at this level within the American Conference. And but she had some moments and is going to be a big time player for us. But just a lot of individual performances like that throughout the year. We're really proud of. Bailey Wilson had some big moments at a big go-ahead game-winning home run against NC State for us. Joey Fatante got a lot of experience catching DP-wise that we're looking forward to her growth. So a lot of individuals like that had some moments and are really ready to take that step for the next year.
And some of those shortcomings, you think it was just more, I know you referenced at least a couple times there, just kind of a lack of experience and getting those at bats and those or that experience that you can't replace in games.
Yeah, that's some of it. We were young at times. We expect to have and bring in throughout this summer some more middle of the lineup power. We lack, like some teams have, that one swing to get three or four runs on the board. So we didn't have as much explosiveness as we're looking to hopefully pick up through the transfer portal and that we're working on right now. So we struggle kind of 3, 4, 5 in the lineup where a lot of teams obviously rely on. That's where we kind of struggle, was that big production, the RBI and long ball production. Not that we got to live on the home run ball, but it's a big deal in the game of softball with how strong some players are now. And I mean, 220 foot fence, it doesn't take much to hit a 2-run home run. We lack that at times. So we're looking to bring that in. And that's a big part of it, because we had kids, like I said, at the top of the lineup that we're getting on. And now we're just need to get a little better with our quality at bats. And some of our young kids are going to be working on that. Like I said, the Suttons and Sawyers with some of their quality at bats and run production. So some things that we can definitely fix through player development, and some things that we're looking to really improve on as we continue to recruit.
We talked about the transfer portal, or you referenced it a couple times, and how it had been good to your program with the likes of Taylor Edwards. I know it varies from sport to sport, and obviously program to program, depending on what your needs are, and just exactly how much you'll use the portal. But ideally, do you prefer to focus in on more high school recruiting or the transfer portal? And what's your ideal situation there in a perfect world?
We're going to use a blend. When they announced the transfer portal a handful of years ago, I decided as a coach that we're going to use it to our benefit. We're a place that even though we've got a couple players that weren't seeing a lot of playing time transfer out, this season. We usually don't lose a lot of transfers. This is probably the most that I've lost with a handful, but I mean, a couple of them are fifth-year kids that didn't have their degree here, and then a couple of players that weren't seeing a lot of playing time. So we're not losing them for some reasons that other programs are. But we've got a place with a great culture and a great environment that we can get some big-time players like a Taylor Ritters, like a Tadria Cini that played Power 5 softball for big programs, and see kind of how our culture and environment is and what we're building. So we can benefit from the portal big time, and we're going to do that. And this summer is going to show that. We could be in a position right now where we're adding 5 or 6 kids out of the transfer portal this summer to really shake up the lineup. And that's kind of how some of the roster space that we have right now, which is exciting over the next month. Some of the kids that we're going to be bringing in on visits, some kids, again, from Power 5 programs that have had some success, and some highly recruited kids to those institutions that are looking to transfer for one reason or another. So we're going to use that to our benefit, and we're going to make sure that we're successful in the portal because we got a place that players want to be. But you're always going to have to use the old school recruiting and getting the younger kids. And we've got a great class that we're excited about, we're proud of, that we're looking forward to bringing in here, that Pirate fans can be excited to follow for 4 years here. So we're going to use a nice blend, but we're going to keep trying to find the best talent we can to take our program to the top of this conference. We get to the top of this conference, we're talking about being a top 25 team in the country. So we got to recruit top 25 kids, whether they're high school, junior, and seniors, or they're coming from the portal.
Had a question submitted by one of our loyal viewers and listeners, Johnny Gardner. He was wanting to get your thoughts on that very talented 2023 class. So many highly regarded recruits. And one of the things that jumped out to me, the very first bio I read, talking about, not only was she an excellent softball player, she was an excellent track athlete as well. So if you would kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of those members of the 2023 class.
Yeah, we'll start with track athlete. Because we got to replace Tadria Cini at the top of the lineup. So it's tough to predict what a freshman will do, but we know speed wise, we got a Kanisha Anderson out from California that can fly. So she's doing high school track this year, and then we'll jump right back into being on one of the best travel ball teams in the country. But that's a kid from a speed standpoint that we feel like can produce a lot for us. Hopefully be a table setter like a Cini was. And so that's kind of our plan. But again, freshmen kind of go along at their own pace sometimes. But the good thing is her pace is pretty fast. And then we've got some kids playing in the state championship here in North Carolina this week. Taylor Apples had an outstanding season, both at the plate and pitching wise. And she's one that we feel like can be a top of the rotation pitcher for us with big velocity, swing and miss type kid. But she's driven the ball out of the park quite a bit, and that's through high school ball. But still, she's shown some potential at the plate as well. Kaylee Askew also playing in the state championship. Utility kid, plays all over the field, handles the bat well from the left side. So we got some kids that are getting some championship experience, which is really valuable. Again, another kid like a Hannah Evans, a speed kid that plays all over the outfield, left side of the plate. Does a great job again with the bat, moving kids over. But she's one that plays with Taylor Apple for Carolina Lightning team, that one of the best travel ball teams in the country. So we're bringing in kids with a lot of experience like that are playing high level ball. But it's fun to see some of them still playing for championships. And then the last one's another pitcher, two-way kid pitcher, middle infielder, Devin Long from Georgia, who high velocity kid again, that we were looking forward to having more swing and miss stuff with our pitching staff, but she also swings a really good bat and can play anywhere on the field. Kid that I've really been looking at since she was 12, 13 years old, coming to my camps down at Charleston Southern. So I've been seeing her for a lot of years and excited to have her on board here and being a Pirate. But that class is one that we feel like with their athleticism and the pitching that we have, it's going to be really successful for us. We're bringing in speed and athleticism, and then like I said, hitting the portal hard for some kids that can drive the ball out of the park.
Over the last 5 seasons or so, the East Carolina baseball program under Cliff Godwin has obviously been top 15, top 20, well documented, the atmosphere there with the jiggle. And, I think back to when Pirate softball was having a lot of success, and I know the program's on its way back now. Certainly, when you're making your recruiting pitch, do you point to the way things are in baseball, and then hey, it can be this way here as well? Because I remember attending a softball game with the bleachers there at the beautiful Max Joyner Family Stadium. I literally could not have a conversation with my dad beside me because it was so loud.
Yeah, we talk about that with every recruit that we bring in. We tell them we just have to look across the parking lot with what type of success we believe we can have as a softball program. And you're seeing that type of success from others in this conference. I mean, Wichita State was a top 25 team all year. We've got UCF leaving, who's a top 25 program, but USF has been in the top 25 in recent years, dating back as early as last year. So we've got to be a top 25 program just to compete in this conference. And that's why I took the position 2 years ago, because we knew we had that ability and the potential here with this program, and how great Pirate Nation is and how much they'll get behind a winning program. So we saw that at times throughout the season, the excitement and the energy at Max Joyner. But again, you look over at baseball, that's absolutely our vision. That's what our expectation, our goal is for the program. We want to be there just like they are with Selection Sunday for us, and having that kind of support just like they do. And Cliff has done a great job kind of being the model program for what ECU should be, and that's what we're looking forward to, and that's what we're in the process of building.
Final thing I have for you, Coach. You talk about the conference. You referenced UCF and obviously Houston, some quality programs moving on, but then you have the likes of Wichita State, South Florida returning, and then you have some programs coming in. So tell us about the FAUs or other programs that are entering the league.
Yeah, our conference doesn't get any easier. Some from the outside would look at it and be like, oh, you're losing this program and this program and bringing teams in from Conference USA. Conference USA is a good softball conference. We're bringing in 5 programs. We got Charlotte coming in, which we're excited about because that gives us the ability to have a drivable team in conference that we feel like can be a rival. But they were top 30 in RPI in the country this year. They went to a regional final. It's a really good program that they've done well with over there. FAU, another one that's historically been a really good program. They competed really well in the conference. UAB, another one that's really strong. But then you got North Texas, who was right there with Charlotte battling for conference championship. And they're, again, a really high RPI. And then UTSA is another one that's been a strong program in the past. But we're bringing in, for the 5 programs we're bringing in, our top 100 RPI programs. And that's challenging because we know we're going to have to look on our schedule. And now we're going to have 10 programs in the conference. So you're going from 18 conference games to 27, which is more than basically half the schedule. Is tough conference games that we're going to have to prepare for week in and week out. We're going to lose a little bit of the preseason schedule where we got to knock off 2 tournaments to start conference play earlier, but it's something to look forward to all year long. But the conference battles are going to be really tough. So we had a handful of teams in the conference this year that were top 100. We're bringing in 4. So it's going to be one of the more challenging conferences in the country. Each year it's been ranked 4th, 5th, or 6th ranked toughest conference, and it's not going anywhere. So just bringing in the amount of teams is just that much more conference play. So we're excited about it. There's going to be some new rivalries to build. The Charlotte one, again, is one that fans can look at as an in-state rival. But nationwide conference, it's going to be as challenging as any there are out there. So it's a tough test, but we're looking forward to it.
Tell Pirate Nation, also softball coaches, be it high school or travel ball, how they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, we've got our Instagram account, but ECUPirates.com, you'll find everything there, all of our links to social. But we've got some great content that go out there, some great opportunities to follow our athletes, and some that we look forward to springboarding into some great success next year. But there's going to be some great things to follow, whether it's through Instagram, Twitter, all of our accounts, some kids that we're going to be bringing in the next month here that are going to be some big name players for our program. So a lot to look forward to, not just next season, but over the next month and a half on some players that we're bringing in. Like I said, we've got room for 4, 5, 6 more that we think we're going to bring in this summer. So a lot of exciting news just to follow. Even though it's off season, it's never off season for softball coaches in our program. So a lot to be excited about.
Definitely is. And, when that happens late summer, we'll love to have you back on when you're allowed and can talk about those incoming pieces right when the fall semester is getting cranked up.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your time, Coach. And that is East Carolina head softball coach entering his 3rd season next year, and that is Shane Winkler. Appreciate everyone tuning in, whether you're watching on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, click that notification bell so you're alerted when we release new content or go live. Also, follow us on Twitter at TheSportsOBJ, on Instagram at The Sports Objective, and like and follow our Facebook page. But for East Carolina softball coach Shane Winkler, I'm Bubba Rosenbaum. You've been watching and listening to The Sports Objective. Have a great one, everyone, and as always, go Pirates.
Team know that we got they back. This is our house, this is our town, our time. Remember 19, copy that. Everybody in the stands go bananas, scream loud, but they don't hold back. Every foot, every yard, every first down, every touchdown with the cannons blast. Get it on, get it all, get the wave going like a